Hello, everybody. It's Kelly and Jim from the X-Files Preservation Collection, and we are completely thrilled to be speaking with Mar Andersons today.
Is that my name? I forgot, but yeah, that's it. That's it. You got it right. You got it right.
Well, everybody knows that D.P.O is my favorite episode, so they have to forgive me if I get a little tongue-tied today. Those of you who don't know, Mar played Jack Hammond in my favorite episode, D.P.O. Hi, Mar. How are you today?
Hi, guys. I'm awesome. How are you?
We are thrilled to be speaking with you today.
Yeah, thanks for being here. It's an honor.
I'm excited to be here. I love all the stuff you got in the back there.
Thanks. It's
Yeah.
years and years, of collecting and preserving.
Yeah, preserving
Very
the
cool.
history.
Yep.
Very cool.
Since this is, your favorite episode, you want to take the ball?
Well, we always start with, how did you get into acting?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm actually second generation film.
Wow.
And my mom was a casting director. And so I grew up on set of everything from the old HBO show Hitchhiker that some legends like Willem Dafoe or Philip Noyce directed, to the original Outer Limits, or just a bunch of different stuff. Airwolf that was shot here. So a bunch of different stuff. And when I turned 16, I just really loved acting. And my mother was not interested in allowing me to get involved in the industry at all. She wanted me to do anything but. So, however, she was very, very open to me exploring stuff. So I got into the industry basically by getting my first agent when I was 16 and booking a couple of commercials. And then next thing you know, I was started booking some really great stuff, and I was very, very fortunate.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And then how did you eventually end up with the X-Files?
Well, my agent at the time emailed me and said, hey, you want to read for X-Files? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I like the show a lot. And that was in season 2. And it was an episode with John Savage, and it took place on a destroyer, if I'm not mistaken, and Rob Bowman directed. And so I did that episode, and it was such a great experience, and everyone was so lovely. And then the next season came around, and I got the opportunity to read for Jack Hammond and booked it. And I was just over the moon, because at that time I was always the love interest, or, the guy who loses the girl. I never got to play the baddie. And so it was super fun for me. And I always remember going in for wardrobe and seeing one of the writer of that episode, who went on to do some amazing stuff, a gentleman by the name of Howard Gordon.
Yes.
And I ran into Howard in the office, and he said, oh, Mar, you're going to love this kid that we got. This kid that we got is just unbelievable. He's amazing. And at that time, not a lot of people even knew about Giovanni Ribisi. And so I was like, oh, cool, whatever. And then we got on set, and both he and Jack were so next level and just so awesome. So yeah, that's basically, I auditioned for it and got the part.
That's awesome.
That's great.
And like, at that time, were you aware of how big the X-Files was, or was going to be? It was still kind of getting its feet there.
Yeah, I was. And the reason why was because I was working on another Fox show at the time called Sliders. And
Sliders, I used to watch that.
Yeah. And so I was working on the crew there to try to get my days for the Directors Guild, and doing a bunch of different odd jobs with the producers and being a producer's assistant and stuff. And so, yeah, I was really, really conscious of how big the show was, or how big the show was going to be.
Right. Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. And did it pay off? Like, did it make any difference to your career, or do you think it was?
I mean, being an actor based in Vancouver, it's a lot different than, somewhere like Los Angeles, right? We're kind of at the mercy of the projects that come here. And we're usually, there's a lot of great people that have come out of here, don't get me wrong, but they don't usually stay. They usually go to LA.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, did it help? Absolutely. And I really do love that episode. I haven't seen it in a long time. like I watched it back then. But I just remember it being just so different. And the director of that episode, the lovely Kim Manners, who's since passed away, and I believe he was one of the guys that started Supernatural and all that jazz, was just so awesome. Just so awesome to work with. So
You definitely got to work with some of the greats.
Yes.
What?
yeah, and I mean, even Chris, and I mean, Rob Bowman is just hilarious and awesome. Chris is just a sweetheart of a gentleman. Kim was just awesome. So, and even Howard was so nice to me. So all these people were so great, and they were in the pinnacle of beginning amazing careers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So working with Giovanni and Jack, did we have any clue how big they were going to become?
No, I mean, Giovanni's next level. He was just so into it, and it was just awesome. I mean, and Jack is great too. He's just they were both so great to work with. No, I mean, I remember Jack was flipping through a local newspaper we have here called the Georgia Straight, looking to see what bands were playing, so he could possibly go check out. And
Yeah.
Giovanni kind of just kept to himself and was pretty chill.
Awesome.
Yeah.
When you were filming the episode, how long did it take to do the scene with the arcade and all that?
That was one full day. And, here's an interesting story that unless you were there, you wouldn't know. The director, Kim Manners, had one of his closest and dearest friends had passed away. And he had just found out, and he gathered the crew around and made a really emotional speech. And I remember being really, really moved by it. And I had to go to Tony Morelli, who was a stunt guy at the time, and tell him to sort of slap me around a bit to get back into it, because I was so kind of just taken aback by the sadness of what had transpired for Kim.
That's terrible. I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
A lot of courage for him to do what he did that day.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, your death scene in the car. How was that? And then can you tell us how, when you got electrocuted and then like supposedly was smoke coming out of your mouth, how was that done?
So that was hours of me actually just physically convulsing in the car. They had a contraption built underneath my shirt to have my heart kind of it come out of my chest a bit. You could barely see it, but that was there. The smoke was from a cigarette. And I remember, after hour 2, Kim Manners coming over and handing me Advil and saying, "You're going to want these." And so, yeah, that's how all that was done. I mean, I remember Tobias, who was one of the camera ops at the time, he's gone off to DP some amazing movies with Peter Berg and stuff. He was sitting on the floor in the front seat of the car to get some angles. Like there was a crane, there's just so many different ways. And Kim Manners' vision was just so awesome. The way it was all shot. It just was one of those things that I'll look back on in my life as just an amazing experience.
It definitely was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
And you definitely played a baddie. You were a big jerk to poor Darren, Peter.
I sure was. It's my town. He's just living in it.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, it was your town.
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to play a game? We'll play a game. First. Oh man, you shouldn't have done that. Why? What's he gonna do?
I guess it's his town now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, the car you were driving now, that was a nice, sweet, classic car.
Yeah.
Totally was. Yeah.
The music was that episode, was really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And the music was amazing. I mean, what was there? Hey Man, Nice Shot in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the song in our sequence was amazing. Yeah. Just everything about it just clicked, and that's pretty rare in this business. It's pretty awesome.
Definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
They're in a morgue scene when the coroner's lifting the eye open. Was that you?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh, wow.
Wow, he
You
had to
know?
lay there and play dead too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I actually had to spend hours, and we're talking hours in makeup to have a huge corner scar, the big
Oh,
Y open chest.
yeah.
So I think that was probably, by the time it was all said and done with makeup, over an 18, 19-hour day.
Wow,
Wow.
that's
A
crazy.
really long day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. You wouldn't think it would, would take that long for just a scar,
It took probably 3-4 hours easy for the scar. It took way longer to put on than obviously take off.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Yeah.
That's some stuff right there.
Yeah. Did you continue to watch the show after you were on it?
I watched it a little bit. I mean, I'm a lot of friends and really good people have worked on the show over the years, like we were talking about Dean Aylesworth earlier. But there's so many different people, and even David and Jillian were just so wonderful to me. I mean, I remember one of the first films I made as a producer, David came down to the screening and he didn't have to do that, So just really nice people. And so, yeah, I watched the show after the fact to see friends and stuff that were on the show. But at the same time, I was in my early 20s and doing a bunch of different stuff, so I didn't actually have a lot of time either to watch it. But I've looked back on it now and rewatched some episodes, and it's something that'll stand the test of time forever.
Would you be able to pick a favorite episode? Did you watch it consistently enough to pick a favorite?
I mean, I would have to agree with you.
See, I've got good taste. D.P.O. Yes, I think that is an awesome episode.
Yeah.
I also really like Dod Kalm in season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very unique and totally different type of an episode,
Yeah.
And not because I was in it speaking Norwegian or anything, but
Speaking Norwegian, a lot of people give them negative feedback because the pronunciation and stuff was like not right. I'm like, really?
right.
It's a TV show.
yeah. And it's funny because I called the Norwegian consulate.
Yeah.
And they were kind enough to translate it for me phonetically before I went in to read for that.
Awesome.
So whoever was at the Norwegian consulate,
Yeah.
blame them.
See, I'm saying, who are we to judge?
Right.
Right?
I'm not Norwegian. I don't know if you're saying it right or not.
Totally.
So after the X-Files, what did you do? What was your next venture?
Oh man, I've been really fortunate to I kept acting, and I did a series here in Canada called These Arms of Mine, and was in a movie called Cats and Dogs and Little Women, not the recent one, the original one. So I did a lot of different stuff after the fact. And then I went on to produce a couple of movies and then wrote, produced, and directed a bunch of commercials here in the country. And I've been doing that for probably almost 20 years now. So I've been really fortunate to just keep working in the business that I love and keep doing what I love,
Oh, that's good. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Now, if the X-Files, this is just wishful thinking. If the X-Files ever came back and they asked you to
Do another role.
Would you be up for it?
100%.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a show that, like I said before, will stand the test of time and is, in my mind, a classic. And, you guys are a testament to that, building a museum and having this show. So I think it's really cool. I really, really do hope that they come back and get back to that grit that they had,
Right.
and because especially with what's going on in the media today and the government releasing certain things, and J.J. Abrams' documentary series called UFO, which I've watched.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out there to play with. So
Definitely.
Yes, and I do say that, I mean, I love the entire show, all the seasons, but the Vancouver years,
Oh, definitely.
that was definitely just a masterpiece, I mean, the stories, the writing, the directing, but I got to give credit, Vancouver, the scenery was just, was amazing.
And one of the things about this city that a lot of people don't realize is that we're really geographically diverse. We could be skiing in the mountains in the morning, be on a sailboat catching the sunset at night. Within a 4-hour drive, we can be in the same desert range as Nevada. So we have a lot of different geographical locations to choose from. And I think that really helped the show too, because, that show jumped around from every city to every state.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Definitely. That's probably why they picked that spot originally.
And it worked.
Yeah,
it did
exactly.
definitely work.
Yeah,
definitely. I don't know, babe. I'm like tongue-tied a little bit with this. I'm not usually. I usually can't. Usually you can't shut me up. So.
Right. You say you were an avid, watch the X-Files all the time. What do you like better? Monster of the Week, or
the
conspiracy.
I was more on the conspiracy stuff for me personally.
Really?
Yeah, I really like the whole world order government sort of tone and David and Goliath, that was my sort of feel on that. I really love that aspect of the show. But, sometimes the Monsters of the Week were awesome as well. And just so random. And even the comedic episodes were fantastic.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a show that covered so many different types of entertainment all in one, and somehow still managed to make it work.
It's crazy. They had something for everyone. They had like every genre.
Right.
So that's kind of what kept people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, you had your dramatic ones, you had your comedy ones, and I remember when they first introduced, a comedic episode, people were like, wow, wait a minute, it was, a lot of fans didn't know how to take that, but they pulled it off.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And being able to do that is insanely difficult.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament to the talent level of everyone involved in the show.
Like I said, we've talked to a lot of people, and we always hear about like the Vancouver crew, and you guys were all like a little community up there, tight knit, looking out for each other.
Yeah, it's pretty fam, and a lot of those people are still out doing a lot of great stuff today.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Another thing I was thinking about, we were talking about if it ever came back, right? So I always think about this, like D.P.O, for example.
Oh yeah.
Poor Darren Peter Oswald is locked up in that room staring at TV screens. I would love to see like what happened next. Like the government took him and put him where, and there's so many episodes of the X-Files where the bad guy, or I don't know, I mean, I don't think of him as a bad guy, but and that character is a bad guy, but they don't go to jail, but can't be released in the public. And wouldn't you love to, like, they could have a series on what happened to those people? The government's got them somewhere.
Totally.
I was always like, that would be a way to, keep going.
In the episode, Darren, I mean, yeah, he, wasn't a good kid, but if you think about it, he was also kind of a victim.
Right.
Totally. I mean, your life path dictates who you become, and he had a rough life path.
For sure.
Yeah. The one that in that episode that annoyed me the most was the darn sheriff. The sheriff, he annoyed me the most.
Yeah. None of them annoyed me, but, Another thing about D.P.O is it's one of the episodes we can't locate any props or wardrobe from. It's like,
there's not a lot of props in that, except, I mean, there are props, but if you go into, the scene where Darren's bedroom is, there's props in there. And the funny thing is, when Scully goes into the closet, and then Mulder finds Darren's yearbook, when Mulder opens the yearbook, all the pictures in that yearbook are cast and crew members.
That's right.
Isn't that awesome? And then like,
Yeah.
oh, I want that prop when he fries the cows and makes that glass. I can't remember what it's called now, but that's what I want.
Oh, the not the, yeah, I forgot what it's called.
Like,
Too.
yeah, that piece of it looks like glass and it's got the little antifreeze in it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I can't say that word right now, but yeah,
We'll post it. We'll post it in the comments below.
Let me show you something else. It's right over here. You see this? You know what this is? Huh?
It's like a photo right. That only happens with lightning. When Sandy saw fuses into glass from the heat of a discharge.
How much more proof do you need?
right, exactly.
Whoever's got it, I need that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, or Darren's hat or something, you know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, I don't have anything from that show at all either. A fan sent me a baseball card of the episode, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah,
And my picture was on it, so that was kind of neat.
definitely.
And I think someone else gave me an X-Files book that I was in as well. But you know, it's to find that memorabilia stuff and be able to, like, the collection you guys have is pretty cool.
Thank you.
It's definitely a passion project. A lot of time and energy to find these pieces. So I'm still looking for D.P.O stuff.
Well, if you ever find any, let me know.
I
Definitely will.
the world will know.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
So I mean, that's all our questions. Do you have anything we can be looking out for to see you in, or what you're up to?
Yeah, I mean, I did a show called Louder Milk, directed by the Farrelly brothers, starring Ron Livingston and Will Sasso. That's on Amazon, I believe. Very dark comedy. It's a fantastic show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And this new big superhero type show that I can't talk about. That'll be coming to a streaming service near you. And I've just been doing a bunch of different stuff and juggling and writing and doing my own thing in terms of advertising. So that's been keeping me pretty busy.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's great.
All right.
Well, if you're ever in our area, you know, you're more than welcome. You've got a personal invite to the X-File Preservation Collection.
Why, thank you. I look forward to it.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Like I said, I'm totally thrilled to be speaking with you.
Anytime. And it was such a pleasure. And I'm so glad you guys are doing the work you're doing, and keep it up, and good luck with opening the museum.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
You too.